President Trump pitching his tax reform plan last night in Pennsylvania. He promised, I think I'm reading this correctly, a one-time tax holiday to get corporations to return overseas profits, bring it back here. Here's a look at the companies with the most cash, which is parked overseas. Apple leads the way. It has more than $250 billion in cash overseas. Joining us now, Art Laffer, former Reagan economist. All right, Art, if I'm reading the speech correctly, this is a one-time, ultra-low tax rate, ultra-low tax holiday on the money that's already overseas. Will it work? Will it bring back $1 trillion?
Sure, it'll bring back a lot. I have no idea exact amount. But I also want to tell you, Stuart, I just a short while ago did a big debate at the Oxford Union, political union there, and you'd have been proud of me, by the way. But boy, I loved your opening statement.
But let me digress for a second, Art. Don't you find it incredible that the very seat of free speech in the Western world, Oxford University, now proposes to ban Christian? I'm astonished by this.
Well, I am astonished by lots of things, Stuart, and you know that's one of them. I had loads of fun there because obviously I was grilled for 2 hours in there in front of an audience, and I just beat the heck out of the guy. I mean, so you'd have been very proud of me defending free market, pro-growth, democratic economic capitalism, and how it leads to prosperity and great, and how it leads to Trump's tax cuts, which will be really good for the economy.
Yeah, okay,
so how's that for a segue with you?
I was getting back to that because the top guy at J.P. Morgan Chase, Jamie Dimon, obviously a very well-known banker, he's a fan of the tax plan.
Sure
he says it has all the ingredients to fuel economic expansion. But Congress, here's the rub, does Congress have the time to get it done?
They do, and I think they will. I mean, but, you know, it's a schlep. It's a real tough period here. And, you know, Dimon gets criticized because it would be in his self-interest. You know, Stuart, there's nothing wrong with endorsing legislation that feathers your own nest, as long as it feathers everyone else's nest as well. What is wrong is when you endorse legislation that feathers your nest at the expense of other people's nests. That's not right. But these guys who know something about the subject should be taken at face value that they are trying to do something that's good for America. And I just love Dimon's comments on that. And I wish these people like the LA Times would just stop sniping that it's in his self-interest. It's in America's self-interest, and he's an American, and he'll benefit from it too. And so I hope will Trump and everyone else.
Okay, one last one, real fast.
Yes.
If we go to a tax holiday to bring money back, a short-term tax holiday, and then we go to a much lower corporate tax rate thereafter, how much of the $2.5 trillion that's parked overseas, how much of it comes back here?
What I would do is, if I did the tax holiday, and I would not do a tax rate on the monies coming back by itself, I would do a percentage of the difference between the tax rate abroad, the foreign tax rate, and the U.S. tax rate. For example, if you would, let's say it's Ireland, you had a 12.5% tax, the U.S. is 35%. You know, that's what is that? Is that a 22.5% differential? I would take 20% of that differential to bring it back. And I do that for each country where the actual taxes were paid, and then just take a difference between that and the 35, and then have it done, come back, and then a new slate with a low rate. I think we should take that 20% corporate rate and drop it to 15%.
Okay. How much comes back here? We got $2.5 trillion over there. Do we get $1.5 trillion, $2 trillion? Does it come back?
Oh, it will come back. We have lots of evidence on what happens with tax holidays here in the U.S. We've probably had 150 state tax holidays. They are very, very successful. People really love to get under the wire there and bring their money back, and then have no more hassles and no more sitting there.
Art Laffer, I've got to run, but thank you very much indeed.
Sir.